Morning, Facebook. You guys know, got a good guest coming on this morning, man. So I gotta be on time. So let me just set the stream up, make sure I got everything flowing correctly. Get the comment stream set up. Good morning, Bethany. There we go. Good morning, Angela. I got that link. I'm gonna check it out as soon as we're done with the show today, Bethany. Good stuff, man. That's gonna be big for you to continue to use video like that in your marketing. Good deal, good deal. Let's see. All right. Stephen Booth, good morning. Good morning. Sherlyn, good morning. Guys, go ahead and share the show early because I'm actually about to start the stream here in a second. I got my guests waiting in the wings, and it's going to be a phenomenal show this morning. So I want you guys to be ready for that and go ahead and get it shared out. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the link and share it on my fan page and get that thing done as well. Try to do it in the next minute or so. But you know, whenever I screen share, it takes a little time. It wants to play around with me this morning. But I'm excited to present another good, solid brother in my Brother Keeper's speaker series. I think you guys are going to learn a lot, especially those of you who are building brands online. I'm going to talk about how he's built a multi-million-dollar empire from scratch. You guys know I love teaching how to build your wealth and your empire from scratch, and this brother has certainly done that. So give me a second to get this shared over, and then we're going to go ahead and start the show. My folks on YouTube gonna kill me because they don't get live when I go with guests because my other laptop is kind of busted up that I usually do. Nonetheless, we're gonna make it do what it does. All right. And then let me grab my bit link so I can share the so I can share the link to the video marketing class. Today is the last day for you guys to get registered for that. If you haven't already, you know, that class starts tonight, 8:00 p.m. Central. All right. And then let me just do this. And then we'll be ready to get the show started. We're going to start this thing off right. All right. All right, there we go. All right, so let's get ready to do this thing, y'all. I'm super excited about today's guest. So let's go ahead and start the show officially. All right.
Put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real wealth is being real myself. My eyes can see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real wealth is being real myself. My eyes can see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money. All you guys is not wrong with being wealthy. Like Kanye West says, having money is not everything, not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's wrong. You don't like money so much, why you get up and go to work for your money? I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. That's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. Now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Mr. Hey Marquel.
Good morning, and welcome to Talk to Money in the Morning Live with your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. It is truly an honor, privilege, and a blessing to be coming to you live and direct from the I Am Breaking the Cycle studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. I Am Breaking the Cycle is a book by today's guest that gives you 13 proven principles to break the cycle of poverty, crime, and fatherlessness. Wonderful, wonderful read. You're going to want to pick that up. I'm going to bring the brother on, and he's going to tell you more about not only the book, but the movement behind that book. Again, IamBreakingTheCycle.com if you want to learn more about that particular piece of literature. And it gives me a great deal of honor and privilege to bring this guy on. So let me go through my announcements real quick, and then we're going to get right into today's show. Guys, do me a huge favor if you're checking us out on Periscope, then invite your followers to check us out, share it on Twitter, and go ahead and make sure you hit the little man in the corner so you can subscribe to the feed so that when we go live with the show every morning, you get that notification. Same with you guys on Facebook. Do me a huge favor. Go ahead and share this on your wall, on your timeline. Let's bring other people on to get this knowledge, man. And then the hearts and the likes, when you guys tap the screen like that, that lets Facebook know that we have valuable content. And the only way we can compete with the ratchetness out there is if you guys pay attention to, like, share, and comment on good quality content. Because you got to know that when somebody shares a fight video, that world star crap, people are liking and sharing and commenting on that all the time. That's why it stays at the top of the news feed. So when we have good positive shows, we want to make sure that we are liking and sharing and commenting and engaging with those shows. And that's what puts them at the top of the news feed so we can compete with some of the ratchetness out there. And for those of you who are new to the show, if you've never seen the Talking Money in the Morning show, let me let you know exactly who the show is for. The show is for risers and grinders only, man. You've got to be ready to get up, get out, and get something. If that's you, this is your show. The show is for legacy builders, man. If you are like me, when I lay down to sleep at night, I think about what am I going to do tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, next month, next year, the next 5 years from now, to make sure that my children's children will be proud to bear my last name. If that's you, this is your show. On the other hand, who is the show not for? The show is not for the bump on the log. The show is not for that person who has that weird relationship with money, where you think money is evil, capitalism is a dirty word, you think wealthy people are snobs. If that's you, get off my stream, because everybody on this stream is wealthy, right? We understand that when you have that kind of relationship with money, then you tend to repel money away from you instead of attracting money, success, wealth, prosperity, joy, peace into your life. And if you don't want any of those things, then you better get off that show, because that's the end result of hanging with us a little too long. So like I tell you each and every morning, I have no problem with you not wanting to be wealthy. I only have a problem with you when you have a problem with me wanting to be wealthy. If you are content with where you are, good for you. But don't let my aspirations to be a billionaire, and yes, I said it, that's billion with a B, rub you the wrong way. So if you've never seen a future billionaire, I want you to take a screenshot, and watch me work, but also watch everybody else on the stream works, because we're working together and we're striving. There's not a single billionaire on this planet that has ever gotten there without helping others become mega millionaires, decamillionaires, millionaires, six-figure earners, and the likes. So instead of watching from the sideline, I advise you to get in the game with us. Really quickly, one last announcement before I bring my guy onto the show. If you are trying to build your brand online and you're not using video, then you might want to start. And a good place to start is with my video marketing class that's going down tonight. Just 47 bucks can get you in that class. And I'm going to teach you some tricks and tips on what you can do to incorporate video in building your brand. Even if you don't like to get in front of the camera, I can show you how to use video in your branding, and you won't ever have to get in front of a camera. I can show you that tonight. So the link is in the comments somewhere. I'll put it in the description once the video is done, so that you can have that. But again, register for that, and you also get my free course on how to win with Facebook ads as a thank you for subscribing to that class. Tonight, 8:00 p.m. Central Time is when we go live with that class, and I'm gonna teach you everything I know about video marketing for just 47 bucks. Can't beat that. So without further ado, guys, The gentleman that I'm going to introduce to you is somebody that I've learned a tremendous amount of what I do from a marketing standpoint from. I watched this guy. I got a chance to talk to him a few times, met him a couple times live at a few events nationally that we've attended together. And the brother is just a phenomenal dude, and what it is the perfect fit for my Brother's Keeper speaker series, because my Brother's Keeper speaker series is all about brothers who are doing big things in entrepreneurship and in business, but these brothers are also doing big things in their communities. And then the third thing, these brothers are also willing to share the love with other brothers to help them ascend to where they are. And this brother meets all three of those criterias above and beyond. He loves his community, he loves building his business, and he loves the idea of helping other brothers get to his level, and he holds nothing back, y'all. So I'm going to introduce to some and present to others your favorite entrepreneur's favorite entrepreneur, Mr. Marquel Russell. Top of the morning to you, sir. How's it going, brother?
Top of the morning, brother. I'm amazing, bro. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
I am doing wonderful, man. I'm glad you were able to make a few minutes for us to jump on, man, because I know you're a very busy guy building a multi-million-dollar empire from scratch. And that's one of the things that I teach, man, is when you build things from scratch, right, you take raw ingredients that really aren't valuable in and of themselves, but if you put them together in the right mix, and I want you to really get into your story a little bit, because you took a little bit of heartache losing your mom, you took a little bit of trouble that you got into as a youth, you took a little bit of bad advice from some bad friends, you took a little bit of tenacity, you took a little bit of drive and determination, and you mix all that stuff in the right proportions, and lo and behold, out pops the oven, $1 million empire, brother. So tell everybody who you are and how you've been able to build that empire from scratch.
Yeah, man. First off, once again, thanks so much for having me on and everything that you do, man. And you said something real critical there. You said it's really about, you can hear me okay, right?
Yes, good.
Okay, great. So you said it's really about taking something that most people would see as nothing and turning it into something. So I recently coined myself as the modern day alchemist. So a lot of people don't understand in alchemy, it's about taking like lead and turning it into gold.
Yeah.
And that's really, really what I've been blessed to be able to do. So real quick, I'm Marquel Russell. I'm out here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm here in my home office. You can see my bookshelf and my green walls. But it's all intentional, right?
Right.
So I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. My mom raised me and my two sisters by herself. I grew up in a drug-infested environment. And where I'm from, you know, they say I'm 32 now, so most people say that I'm either should be dead or in jail or working a job getting paid about, you know, $722 a month, right? Because I dropped out of high school when I was in 10th grade, so I have a 9th grade education. Because ultimately, even when I was at a young age, the ideal job for people who are growing up, they want to get a job working for the city. So just in case you don't know what working for the city is, that's those guys who in your city, they wear the neon jackets and they, you know, fix the potholes in the streets. So, you know, when you're riding down and you see traffic like crazy and you get up and you see they're doing construction, it's those guys who know a lot of that traffic. And there's nothing wrong with that, not taking anything from those guys. But that, for my life, even when I was young, because where I grew up, everybody was broke. You know, if you ask somebody for some money to go to the candy lady, they used to say, money don't grow on trees, what you think this is? And so at that young age, my entrepreneurial gifts started to strike up. So I started doing things like knocking on doors, taking out trash, you know, all different types of stuff just to get a couple bucks to go to the candy lady. And at this time, I don't know about the rest of the listeners, but, you know, we used to eat like syrup sandwiches and drink sugar water and stuff like that. Yeah. So I just wanted more. I wanted to create wealth. I was always fascinated about money because my cousins at that time, these guys was having money. They was having bank rolls and nice clothes and all this. And I found out what they were doing. They were selling drugs. So one thing led to another. I ended up going that route, jumped out of the streets at a very young age, and began to get really good at it. I started making money. I was really young, bought my first car when I was 16 rather. And I was actually doing telemarketing, but I used to keep me some money from doing other things. I was always entrepreneurial. So one thing led to another. I ended up dropping out of high school in 10th grade, went in the streets full time. And of course, going in that life, you end up, it just kind of comes with the territory. So I started going to jail. I had my first son when I was 19. And when I turned 19, locked up. Two significant things happened when I was 19. I was turned 19, locked up, and my first son was born when I was 19, all locked up. So I said, okay, when I get out, I got to do something different because my dad wasn't around growing up. So I said, okay, if I keep going down this path, I'm going to end up being absent in my son's life like my dad was in my life. So I said, I'm going to get me 2 jobs. I'm going to try this job thing out. I'm going to get me 2 jobs because I know one just ain't going to get it. Everybody who I knew who had 1 job was broke. So I was like, I'm going to have to get me 2. So I got out. And I end up, kind of dabbling in the streets a little bit. Well, I kind of wasn't, but a friend of mine got me a job working at this place called Petro. It's on Bankhead here in Atlanta. I was changing oil and tires on these big 18-wheelers. And one day I was looking at the price list, and it said that every hour they make $300 off of the work that I do, and I was only getting paid $8 an hour. So I was like, okay, where I'm from, that's called pimping. So I'm out of here. I was like, man, I can sit at home and figure out how to come up with $8 an hour. I'm here all day. I'm covered in oil. It's just terrible. So I said, I can figure it out. So I jumped back in the streets. I guess this is my way of justifying getting back in the streets. Right. Because I had this job. I remember I had this job. I took my son to the fair, and I couldn't afford to really do much at the fair. And I was like, this just isn't cool. Like, I was like, I got to go back to what I know best. So I kind of went back to the streets, went back that route. But I had a slightly different shift because I started an entertainment company where I was doing like artist management, club promotions, because I knew guys who rapped and did beats and things of that nature. And I was the business mind. So I started my first company. It's called Get To It Enterprises. I rented a storefront. It used to be a hair salon. We gutted the whole thing, put up, surround sound and all that. And I basically rented out like a storefront. I was like 19 at this time, 19. I was 19. Had my own studio. I didn't know how to work any of the equipment, but I brought some guys in who worked the equipment. I had the guys who rap. So we had our own label because I saw what Master P and those guys did with No Limit. So I was like, okay, maybe I can go that route. So I jumped in head first, started doing the music thing. And one night I was actually headed home. A friend of mine had invited me to a mixtape release party. So I was headed home one night. I wasn't going to go, but I ended up going because I told him I was going to go. And while hanging out in the club one night, this particular night, I'm in there drinking and smoking and hanging out. And a gentleman walks up to me and pitches me on this thing called network marketing. He didn't say network marketing. He just walked up to me. He thought I was somebody else. I knew his face. He knew my face, but he thought I was somebody else. So he came up to me and he was like, what's up, man? He was drinking. They're young. They kind of partying or whatever. So he was like, man, how many people you know with a cell phone? And I was like, well, everybody I know got a cell phone. And he was like, imagine if every time they paid their phone bill, you got paid. And I was like, well, that'd be pretty cool. And he was like, well, we just joined this thing. It's $500 to get started. He just came. He was kind of new, so he was just pitching me like crazy. He was like, it's $500 to get started. This, and the third. My millionaire mentor is going to be in town this week. You should come out and meet her. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we exchanged information. We met like that Tuesday. I went to the meeting Wednesday. I saw them. They started breaking down this network marketing thing. I still didn't know it was. I didn't know what network marketing was. I was familiar with Kirby. I had did Kirby before, but it was just like, hey, we selling this video phone thing. If all you got to do is get 2, and then they're gonna get 2, and then they'll get 2, and then they'll get 2. Right. And before you know, you make millions of dollars. Driving these expensive cars, traveling the world, all this different stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm buying. I bought in hook, line, and sinker. I'm like, I'm in. $500. I'm in. So I was like, y'all take cash? And they was like, well, no, we only can do cards. I'm like, well, I don't have an bank account, or cards, and all that stuff. Right. So took a couple of days. They showed me how to get a prepaid card from Walmart. I jumped into the business, and obviously it wasn't as easy as they said it was going to be. Mm-hmm. People started telling me I was in a pyramid scheme. People were telling me I'm like, what is a pyramid scheme? I had never heard of none of this stuff before. So I'm like, these people knew about this stuff before me. Like, what is a pyramid scheme? So I'm like, okay, but I guess one of the seeds of, because we always need that little mustard seed, right? Yeah. So one of the person I reached out to is my mom. God rest her soul, right? I reached out to her and was like, what do you think about this? Because mom always been a hustler. She always been up to something. So if it was a scheme, she would know. So I sent her the link, asked her to check it out. She hit me back and was like, hey, if you put some effort into it and market yourself, it can work. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. So I started doing it. People was telling me no. People was telling me I was crazy. So after a while, I still got to the point where I was like, all right, well, maybe they say, because I did club promotions. I know everybody in the city for the most part. But everybody was looking at me like I was crazy, like I had got tricked. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they did get me. It only $500, I get it back. So I kind of was like, I wasn't going to do it. So these guys were still reaching out to me, the ones who signed me up, and they wanted to help me. I mean, they gave me a laptop. I mean, I had to keep it plugged in and all that, but cool, it was still a free laptop. I wasn't on social media or nothing. And it was like really there. Where I'm from, nobody really genuinely wants to help you succeed. You know, legitimately, right? Why do these people want to help me? Like, what's in it for them? I was just kind of, that's where I was mentally. So one of them invited me to an event. He was like, bro, you should come to this event this coming Saturday. It's a national conference. Just so happened it was right here in Atlanta. Went to the conference. It was making so bad. When I woke up that morning, all my tires was flat on my car. That's a whole other story, right? I won't even get into what happened with that. But I had to get my car towed. I'm on the way to the conference. I'm dressed and everything. Get outside. My tires all flat, all of them.
Wow.
So I had to get my car towed to the shop to get all my tires changed. Once I finally got that done, then I went down to the conference. And I went to this conference, and I see all these black people that look like me making all this money. They get cars. They sharp. They thinking another way. They're positive. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, maybe they could have tricked me, but they couldn't have tricked all these people.
Right.
So I came out of this event. I don't know what it was, but I came out of this event on fire. So I started getting some promotions and all that right out of the gate. I'm going to start walking across the stage. At this time, I didn't own a suit. So I was on the stage with polo shirt on, shorts, you know, Jordans. And there was like one of my mentors, he was like, man, we got to get you a suit. So I went and got my first 2 suits or whatever, like 2 for $99 at B&K.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I like the suit thing. So long story short, my business started to plateau because I ran out of people to talk to. So I was like, okay, after we run out of our warm market, who do we talk to? And it was like, well, you know, you got to go to the malls and, you know, talk to people who come within 3 feet of you, you know, spam Facebook. We were spamming Facebook to the point where Facebook used to block us. You know, just how to talk to people. That's all they were saying.
Right.
So somebody on my team sent me a link one day about how you can sponsor and build your network marketing business online without going to home parties, without chasing friends and family. I'm like, okay, this is right up my alley. So I bought my first online course. It was actually an ebook. I paid like $40 for an ebook. Most people look at me crazy, but I paid $40 for this ebook, and it completely changed everything as it relates to marketing. I learned about this thing called attraction marketing, attracting people to me versus going out having to find people. So I bought into a hook, line, and sinker. I started buying all kinds of courses, everything I could get my hands on, because I was fascinated about making this thing work. And I literally went broke, went through all my savings, because the key thing was I was buying all this stuff, consuming all this information, but I wasn't implementing anything. That's why I always tell people that information and knowledge is not power. That's what I thought. But until you apply that knowledge, that's when the power happens. So once I started applying it, I started getting results. I mean, I was at a point where my girlfriend, she's my beautiful wife now, she was paying all the bills and everything. I was trying to figure this stuff out. I finally started getting some results, and then people started paying me to learn what I knew. And I was like, wow. Then I learned about this thing called information marketing. Like, people pay you for your information. People will pay you for what you know. So I always tell people, it's more money in what you know than what you do. So people started paying me to coach them on how I was getting leads. I became the #1 recruiter in one of the companies that I recently was with, or recently, you know, still got a spot in actually. #1 recruiter in the company, all online. People started paying me a lot of money to come speak and coach them and all this different stuff. And I was like, wow, it's crazy. So I found out that my passion was really coaching and training and speaking. Even though I had a huge fear of public speaking before all of this, once I broke through that, started working on myself through personal development and stuff like that, I overcame that. Now I get to speak all over the world, get to coach people all over the world, and teach them basically how to take their knowledge and expertise, turn it into an online business, and get people to pay them high prices for it, $3,000 to $10,000, just for that everyday walk around knowledge that they thought wasn't really valuable. I show them how to package it up in a major way. So that's our for-profit side of the business. And as you mentioned, I have an organization called I Am Breaking the Cycle, because I always
let me stop you right there. Don't get into that just yet.
Okay, go.
So you drop so much knowledge in this, and I really want my brothers to get this, because this is a path not uncommon to the one that I went down. A lot of people who watch and know my story, because I shared my testimony a few shows back. But when you have that entrepreneurial spirit as a young man, then sometimes the people who love you the most don't see it. But those who don't love you but see that potential in that to abuse that spirit for their gain does see it. And that's how you get recruited into the street life and things of that nature. So a lot of brothers are falling into that path right now. Parents are forcing school and get grades on kids and don't see that kids, there's not a dropout rate, there's a push out rate when it comes to young Black boys, especially because the school systems just don't cater to our needs, and we need to be more hands-on than sit down and take notes and listen to dissertations for hours, right? And that's kind of where we are. But we need more guys who understand that entrepreneurial spirit at a young, to be able to spot that in a young man or a young woman and say, hey, before you get recruited to the streets, let me recruit you and show you how you can make some positive money using Instagram. Or let me show you how to make some positive money by writing your first book about how you became the top point guard in the city or whatever. You got to get them going down a different path, man, before they're recruited. So talk about that process. Do you remember the guys in the conversations that saw that entrepreneur, that hustler in you and say, hey, young blood, why don't you come over here and do this, that, and the other, and how we can change if we can step into that same situation where they were pitching you on that? How receptive would you have been if somebody else were pitching you on something positive?
You said you broke up. You said somebody was pitching me on something else.
Yeah, if you got so go back to that moment when you were being pitched on the street life, and what if somebody else was in the other ear pitching you on something positive? Hey, you can get the same money over here, young blood, but you ain't got to look over your shoulder. You ain't got to worry about the cops and all that kind of stuff. So go back to that place when. Great.
Okay, great. So basically, here's the interesting thing. I didn't really get. I guess I may have got subconsciously pitched on the street life, but nobody really came at me ever, because like even my cousins who was getting money, they was always like, hey man, go to school, all this different type of stuff, don't come. So I kind of subconsciously went that route because I saw that's where the money was at the time. I wanted to do the NBA thing just like everybody else, right? That's what I thought I wanted to do. But I wanted to get money now.
Right.
So I went into the streets, I started figuring it out. I started getting my first little money, started going to buy me a little something here and there, and I wasn't making no money. And I thought, well, how am I not making no money? And I started just learning what I was doing wrong to start making some money. It's kind of like in real business. I mean, you test and test and test, and then you figure out what you're doing wrong, find out what you did right, and then you do more of that. So it's kind of that same process. So to answer your question, so the best way to do, because like even with the young brothers I talk to now, it's like, because it's really like this. What I found is that if you can sell drugs, you understand business. Like if you're good at it, right? Because like, and here's the mentality. I always had this mentality. No matter what I do, I'm gonna be the best in the world at it. So when I was selling drugs, my mission was to be the best, the biggest kingpin on the planet. Like I wasn't just gonna be the nickel and dime guy. I'm like, I'm all in with this. I'm gonna become the best in the world. So I was studying guys like Pablo Escobar, Rayful Edmond, Nicky Barnes, all these big time legendary drug kingpins, right? Because that was my vision at that time. So I was just all in, but I didn't realize that, hey, I understand business. So if you can sell drugs, you understand marketing, right? You understand customer service. You understand leadership skills. You understand critical thinking. You understand finance. If you got to make a certain money, you understand profit and loss, right? Because you know, okay, I spent this, I made this, I got to take this to go re-up with, and then I do that again. You understand all that different stuff. So when you take distribution, the whole 9 yards, right? Territory, the whole 9 yards. So when you understand that, you can literally, the legal stuff, you gotta really understand how to put some money away for lawyer fees, for bond money. It's all profit and loss in finance. You make money, you put this away, you go re-up, and then you do it all over again. And it's so people don't. So and then when we had these conversations, like you said, man, the key thing is when we talking to our youth and we say, well, go to school or don't deal drugs and all this, but we're not really giving them no other options. And we're not putting it in a way that makes sense to guys. So I got a buddy of mine who's in prison right now. He's my best friend who was growing up. He had 25 years. I think he ended up doing like 15 of it. And he was and the biggest thing, they're like, man, what you got for me when I come home? Another one of my guys, he was in the feds. He's been gone 13 years. He was like, what you got for me when I come home, man? Like, what we gonna do? And I'm like, look, I got this real estate thing. that some of my guys do it. They're going really good at real estate. You know, so I got different options, but we really got to show them like, hey, you can do this legitimately and make infinitely more money than you would make in the streets without having to worry about nobody taking them from you, without having to, you know, worry about, you know, sleeping with your pistol, having to go to the door with the pistol all day, driving around with the pistol, all this different stuff. You can really build something significant, man. So I think when you just have that insight, I think it just makes it that much powerful. Even if you got to use the drug analogies sometimes to make it make sense. I mean, that's kind of how we learn.
Exactly. That's a good, powerful answer, man, because I think you hit the nail on the head. Is we never answer their question. Their question is, how do I get money now? And then we tell them to go to school and get good grades. No, that's going to get me money 15 years from now when I graduate from college with a degree and hopefully find a job. We never answer the question, how do I get money now? At 13, I need some Jordans, or I need this. How do I get money now? And we can tell them, hey, man, you can build up Instagram following and you can do sponsor spots and folks will pay you to wear a t-shirt on Instagram and you can make a few $100s like that. So we're not giving them a game plan and answering that question. So really quickly, I got to do my quote of the day, man. And let me know if you got a special quote that you love to live by or motto. But today's quote of the day is my man. It's the money team, right? The ERGJ Tycoons starting 5. At point guard, number 1, Amazon, right? See, ERGJ is all about helping you understand how to build an empire. His point guard for his money team is Amazon. At shooting guard, number 2, Bitcoin. He's investing heavily in Bitcoin and teaches Bitcoin classes because Bitcoin is performing really well right now, right? No, at small forward, Home Depot, right? Who'd have thought about investing in Home Depot? Home Depot is killing it, right? Everybody is in Home Depot once a week. If you own a home, you are all up and through Home Depot, but you're not buying any stock at Home Depot. At power forward is his library, right? What are you putting in here that's going to help you be able to pick out the next winning investment? And at center, number 5 is discernment, right? That little voice inside of each and every one of you. What is that little voice saying to you? Where is it leading you? Where is it guiding you? And do you ever sit down in quiet space long enough to even be able to hear that little voice? That's a starting 5 for the ERGJ Tycoons starting 5. That is his money team. Quarter day sponsored by theblackbillionairesclub.com. You can get the book. It is in print. It will be released on the target release date of July 4th. It's a reason the man is releasing the book on Independence Day, because this book is going to help you secure your independence if you want to go at it. The guy has literally studied the 12 black billionaires on the planet and how they made their billions. So go to www.theblackbillionairesclub.com. You can still pre-order the book, and it will be released July 4th, 2017, right on schedule. So Marquel, favorite quote, man, or motto that you like to live by?
Favorite quote, and it's one I read every day, and it's kind of long, but it's not super long. But it's by Marion Williamson. It's our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are we not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Man, that is one of the most powerful quotes on the planet. My girl Nikisha Smith says it like this: the sun don't give a blip who it blinds when it shines.
Exactly.
See, a lot of us will take our light and put it under a bush because we don't want to offend others, right? But at the same time, there are so many more people that need to see our light in order to get their light to come on or to stay on. So I love that quote, brother. So we talked briefly about who you are, what you do, man. You do a ton of stuff from the terms of building your empire. You know, you got your hands in real estate. Your online marketing empire is just exploding, brother. I know I can't go anywhere or talk to anybody who's not coaching with you or have coached with you at some point, man. Seriously, I had my girl Sharon on the show as a phenomenal female entrepreneur. She said, hey, you know, Marquel, I see. I had somebody else on. It's like, yeah, I'm talking to Marquel. I was like, so everywhere I turn, people are being coached by you. So that's amazing, brother, that you're pouring into so many people, man, and building that legacy. But we talked a little bit about, you know, what you're doing and you talking to the young guys, but you have an actual movement that you're really pouring to these young guys. Talk about where you were mentally when you start penning the book, Breaking the Cycle, 13 Proven Principles to Break the Cycle of Poverty, Crime, and Fatherlessness. Where were you mentally that made you say, you know what, this needs to be in our community?
Great question, man. So it came. So the title you just read, that's like the newer version. The first version I did about, I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago. This newer version we released the end of last year or the beginning of this year one. But so the first one was so where I was mentally. Believe it or not, when I did the first one, I was living in an apartment. I was about almost evicted from the apartment. But at this time, I had accumulated all this information from these events, from listening to hours of like Jim Rohn, Miles Monroe, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, just traveling or whatever the case may be. And I had thought to myself, I'm like, man, what's the best way for me to get this information out to more people? Because I'm like, more people, what if I knew this when I was 15 or 16 or 13? What if I knew this stuff growing up? So I was like, how do I take what I know, what I've learned, and give it out to the world? So God gave me a vision to do a book. So I reached out to a gentleman, hired him to help me put my book together. And I just took all my notes that I had, and I just began to put the book together. I sat up a few nights, all night. Like, I think I had the whole book done in like 1 week or less, just sitting up all night getting it done. And my whole mission was like, how do I get this out to more people? And I was like, you know, if we can get this in more hands of the youth, how could we change things? So now the message has just become more refined as I've grown more as a person, as a man, as a marketer, as an entrepreneur. We've just refined the message more and take it from, because one of my mentors, you know, Brian told me, we went to an event one time about 2 or 3 years ago, and it was an authors and speakers event. And at this event, it was only me and one other person who actually had our book done. So they let us stand up and talk about our book and what we was up to. So when I shared my story, Brian was like, man, you should start doing your own events. And I was like, well, now? And he was like, yeah. He was like, it's your story, bro. You can do some things. So I bought the I Am Breaking the Cycle domain right there on the spot. I immediately jumped on it. He gave me the blueprint of doing my first event. I dove out and did my first one. So then it just went from just being a book to an actual event. We started doing that yearly for like 3 years. Now we're about to do another one, so it just continued to grow. And now we're working on just making it like an annual, ongoing mentorship program. So now it's not just a one-time event year, but we have the young guys partnered up with mentors and things of that nature. And we're just really growing the brand, turning it into a home study course, and just really taking it to another level. But the mission was just like, how do I take this, what I know now, right? Because the only difference in the people who are successful and those people who are not is that these people just know something that these people don't know. And if we can bridge that gap and really give them the game plan of how to implement it, I mean, we can make magic happen. So that's kind of where I was when it came to putting that out there. Awesome.
And talk about these 5 principles a little bit that I picked up on when I was doing my research. And it's cool that your number one is the same as my number one. I teach my sons. I have 5 sons, and I raised 2 other boys along the way. And I teach them that the number one thing a man has to be is responsible. And I saw that was your number one. But you had the responsibility, the ability to design your future, entrepreneurship, motivation, how to stay happy and stay motivated, and then money. So talk about a little bit of those 5 principles and why you think that's so important for our young folks.
So number one is taking personal responsibility. Like it's huge. Like I have rules that I read off myself every morning, and one of them is I take responsibility for everything that shows up in my life. So a lot of times, especially us as Black men, a lot of times our community, we get so caught up in blaming the white man or, you know, blaming the devil and blaming our dad for not being around and all this different type of stuff. Instead of saying, this is my doing. How do I take responsibility for changing? If I want the community to be better, how do I take responsibility for that? If I want my family to be better, how do I take responsibility for that? If I want a better paying job or I want to start a business, I want to fix my finances, how do I stop complaining about this job and how do I go out and start my business?
Right.
It's simple. People want to make more money. They hate their job. What do? Go start a business. Like, stop crying about it, right? Get up and change it.
That's my favorite question I like to ask. Do you really want to change your situation, or do you just like complaining about it?
Yeah, I mean, change it.
Complaining about it, I don't want to hear it.
Man, it's sickening, bro.
I can help you.
It's sickening, man. It's sickening. People pray for better finances. They pray for better health. You pray for better health, but then you go to the drive-thru at Popeyes. So I'm like, you got to take responsibility. You pray for better finances, but then you just wait for God to just dump money in your bank account. I'm like, come on, it's like God has given you everything. You have God within. Go out and make something happen, activate it. So that's number one. Take personal responsibility. Number two is designing your future. I mean, I don't care about your background. I don't care about none of that. That's why I always share my story. Like, none of that stuff matters. I mean, most people who are massively successful started off with nothing. You decide what is it that you want. Number one, what is it that you want? Take off all the self-governing stuff off of it. What do you want? Number two, why do you want it? And number three, who do you got to become to have that, right? It's two types of work you're going to have to do to make that happen. The things you want is two types of work. It's number one, the work you got to do every day as far as business or making money. And number two, the most important work is the work that you're doing yourself. So whatever that life is, you can design it. It doesn't happen by mistake. Like the life I have now, I've been blessed to be able to use my God-given abilities to create it. Like, I literally came from nothing. We've been able to create this. It's like we are creators, right? We were born to create. So whatever it is you want, you literally can create it. It just starts all right here. So that's 1 and 2. And I don't want to ramble on. I don't know if you want to jump in between these or what.
No, go ahead.
So that's design. So that's design your life. I mean, it's really that easy. You basically have a blank canvas and you can create whatever it is you want. Right. And the only differentiating factor is this between here, how you think, the mind. You know, the difference between the winners and the losers. The only differentiating factor is the mind of the person that's in the game. So that's it. So that's number two. Number three is entrepreneurship. My personal belief is that entrepreneurship is not politicians, it's not the president. Entrepreneurs are the ones who control the economy. So I was telling my wife the other day, we was riding, and we heard the mayor, I think it was a mayor commercial or something like that, and it was like, well, vote for this person. You know, he's on a mission to create more jobs. And I just chuckled. And she was like, why you laugh? And I was like, these guys just saying that because that's the conversation that's going on is marketing. Like, politicians don't create jobs.
They don't.
Entrepreneurs do. If they really want to say something that was true, they would say, this politician is focused on entrepreneurship empowerment. Empowering more entrepreneurs, creating more programs for entrepreneurs so they can create more jobs.
Yes.
That's who creates the jobs, not this politician, because this politician probably has never even owned a business. So how is he going to create jobs?
Right.
So entrepreneurship is the way. It's the only way. That's how you fuel the economy. You know, and then the cool thing about being an entrepreneur, some people cry about paying taxes or paying too much in taxes. Well, start a business.
You know, that's my whole thing right there is, all right, you can complain. Do you like to pay taxes? Or do you just like to complain about it, man?
You can complain or start a business.
That entrepreneurship is a new retirement plan, man.
My God.
If you're not going to get off your assets and build an asset, then you stop complaining.
Stop complaining,
I love the analogy that politicians don't create jobs, entrepreneurs do, and politicians could actually empower entrepreneurs to create even more jobs, man. So that's phenomenal. And our young people, and you got a chance to meet Ariel and what she's doing with young biz kids. They just had a wonderful marketplace on Saturday. kids set up and made some cake, man. Them little kids was out there getting it. And I like that, putting that into our babies at a young age. And then the last two, happy and staying motivated, and then just money principles. Why you think that's important for our young folks to learn early?
Great question. So happiness, and so I'm going to demystify happiness and motivation. So I posted on Facebook, I think last week, that said a lot of people are trying to get rich before they become happy, when happiness is free.
Wow.
So I was on the call the other morning, and a buddy of mine was asking me, man, how do you like maintain the peace and all this different type of stuff? And I was like, having peace is like being happy. You just decide.
Yeah.
You just wake up and decide if you're going to be happy. You know, it's not a certain amount of money that you create when you become happy. You just decide. You don't have to have money to be happy. You just decide, I'm going to be happy. And believe it or not, by you being happy, you will attract more money because it's the energy, right? Exactly. So it's kind of like, it's like gratitude. It's like Oprah says, the more things you have to be grateful for, the more things, or the more you're grateful, the more things you'll have to be grateful for. So it's like, even if you don't have, even if everything ain't going your way, what do you have to be grateful for though? I always ask my clients during our coaching calls, before we get into any coaching, before they ask me any questions, I say, what's positive in your life right now? And then I say, what are you most grateful for?
Wow.
Because even if they came in, things ain't working out with the Facebook ads or whatever, we automatically start with a positive energy. And that kind of shifts the whole conversation. So happiness, you just decide to be happy. You don't have anything, right? So that's number one. Especially Black people, man. We come from nothing, man. Like even the slavery days, I mean, they just made ways to be happy, right? With songs and, just different things. It's coming from nothing. Like even when I was young, like even having nothing, you make the best out of it, right? You can't afford a birthday party. You just work with what you got. So it's like now when you start getting a little money, things just get better. But like, start where you are. Be happy where you are. I ain't saying you got to be content with where you are or complacent, but be happy where you are. Be grateful for where you are. And then you realize the assets that you have, and then you can build off of that.
Yeah. Now, when you look at it, you look at all of the things that, you've gone through, even to be where you are, there's always something to be grateful for, because there's always somebody who's doing worse than you. I heard a pastor say one time, I'm sitting in church, and he said, if you change one letter and one word, it will change your happy forever, right? He said, stop saying what you got to do and start saying what you get to do. Man, I said, so my mom lives about 30 minutes from me, right? And from time to time, she locks herself out right in the middle of me doing something that I'm trying to finish, and she calls me because I got a key to her place. Hey, you know what? There's my key in the house. Can you come down here and let me in? And I used to say, man, I gotta stop what I'm doing and I gotta go let my mom in, right? It's hot, it's cold, or whatever the situation is. But after I heard that sermon, I started saying, you know what? I get to go let my mom in because somebody's mom ain't around.
Boom.
I don't got to do that. I get to do that because she's still here and here for me to do that. So that's one of the things that I use to kind of, transform my slump. If I'm not feeling well and not feeling so happy and motivated, it's like, wait a minute, I'm still breathing. I get to do this and get to transform this situation, man. So number 5 was money. Why are we teaching money to the kids at a young age?
So I think because like the kids are motivated by money. So a lot of times they're motivated by money. So the way I get my kids to do things is a prime example. So last time, so every quarter, me and my family, we go on a trip, and I get to do my quarterly review, and we get to travel and do some other stuff.
So a family business retreat, right? It's not a vacation.
Family business retreat, right? So we get to write it off, right? Family business retreat. So our first one of the year, we went to Hilton Head. Next Thursday, we fly out to Cali. So the first trip I taught them about, we broke down like 5 family declarations. So I know it's on their mind a little, but not really. So what I'm doing now, I'm having my wife print them out again just to kind of bring it to their remembrance. And I'm going to have all of them teach it. I'm going to have all of them tell me what the 5 are and what do they mean. And I'm going to pay them to do it. Like, hey, you get this right. Y'all want to make some money? All right, some easy money. Okay, This is what I want you to do. I'm also having that quote I shared earlier because I want them to remember it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them memorize that poem. That quote, our deepest fear. And, hey, memorize it. I'm going to pay you to do it. Right?
Right.
So that's kind of a little business. Like, just do this. I'm going to pay you to do it. I'm not going to, like, force. I could force them on to learn it, but I'm like, I'm going to pay them to do it because all this stuff is like being embedded. So we always teach them, and I always tell them, hey, look, when you get your money, put 30% here, 30% here, 30% here, 10% in tithes. So we've been embedded into them in church. I don't care if you make, $5, put your tithes in church, $10, put your tithes in church or whatever the case may be. And now keep some money coming in. So I got my son now, they're going around, doing the lawn care thing, pushing them a little more to go out and do more of it because they make $20. Now he done got comfortable for the week. So I'm like, bro, imagine if you just did 1 yard a day, man, $5, 5 days a week, you made $100 a week. That's $400 a month. That's, $1,200 over the next 3 months. I'm like, that's just with 1 yard, man. Like, don't get complacent, bro, because you got $20 in your pocket, man. Like, come on. So it's important. It's important to do that and teach our youth about money, because if not, they'll get the limiting beliefs like, money doesn't grow on trees, money's hard to make, it's supposed to go out and blow all your money. Now, I don't have a problem with enjoying your money if you got it, but like, it's important to teach that because now you can build some wealth. And if I'm going to leave you money, if I'm going to give you an inheritance, I think it's important for you to understand how to handle the inheritance so we can continue to leave it for legacy after legacy after legacy. So I think it's extremely important that we teach that.
Yeah, it is tremendous because the last thing that you want to do, and I know you're a lot like me, you're thinking about your last name. You're thinking about 100 years from now, the Russells are still straight. The only
100%.
The only way that happens is if your kids understand how to handle these resources. The only way that happens if their kids understand how to maintain and grow the empire and the legacy. And even if they don't know how to grow it, they certainly got to know how to keep it, because if they understand nothing else, just say, hey, we got a $50 million empire. We live off the interest at $5 million a year, and we just stay there and don't.
You can't mess that up.
Then we just keep passing the principle down from generation to generation, and nobody ever has to do anything. Because one thing I can guarantee you is that the Rockefeller children ain't worried about nothing.
Nah, right? Absolutely not.
The Carnegies ain't worried about nothing. The Kennedys ain't worried about nothing because they were taught these 5 core principles at an early age, man. And I think that's so important. So you got to go out to give me the website again. IamBreakingTheCycle.com.
IamBreakingTheCycle.com. It's IamBreakingTheCycle.com.
Go out and grab that book, y'all. Sit down and make that a family study. Just like when ERGJ drops the Billionaires Club book, that's a study of Black billionaires. We have to start looking at the books that we can make a family study along with Scripture, right? Because Scripture is where it's at. But then what other pieces can we make a family study that will help our family from one generation to the next get principled in what they're doing? And sometimes, especially when you're dealing with children, sometimes the Scripture might be hard to translate.
True.
From one to the other. But you can take a piece like the Black Billionaires Club, you can take a piece like I Am Breaking the Cycle, and maybe that becomes easier reading, and maybe your children will pick that up and read on their own before they will pick the Scriptures up and read on their own. So we got to find ways to get these principles into our children. And let's be clear, they're the same principles, right?
100%.
They're the same principles.
100%.
Sometimes it's just a matter of when you put things in a different package, they're just more appealing. That's just what it is, right? Most kids don't know, or most adults don't know that Think and Grow Rich is all scriptural based. The foundational principles from Think and Grow Rich came from the good book. But you won't pick up the good book, but you will live and die by Think and Grow Rich in those principles, right?
True.
It's the same thing, right?
True.
The Magic of Thinking Big, all of these wonderful self-development books, they're all based on truth and principles from the Scriptures. So we're winding down, bro. We got about 8 minutes. What do you have coming up? I know you said the event for the youth is coming up, and I'm glad to see that you working it out to get my man Mikey on the bill somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely gonna have Mikey down for sure.
Cool. So do you have dates for that? And
we don't
talk about what you got coming up.
We'll have the dates locked down. I'm shooting to have them locked down within the next week or so because I want to do one before school starts back or like at the top of school. But I'm definitely gonna have Mikey come down. He's gonna be our special keynote speaker. We're gonna partner up. Me and Mikey we're gonna do a lot of stuff together because that's like one of my big visions. I got another a duo of mentees that I'm working with. They have a lemonade business. You probably seen them online. They have their own lemonade or whatever. So I think it's very, very important. So we're gonna do something, bring those guys together as well. And make it cool to have businesses, right? Just like it's cool to go to the NBA or whatever. It's gonna be cool to have a business.
Exactly.
So we focused on that. I have a new book coming soon called The 7 Habits of Highly Productive Millionaire Internet Entrepreneurs. It's like being edited and so forth right now. So I'll let you know when that's done, and maybe I can come back on and we can talk about that or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
And
definitely.
So we got that. And mainly what I'm doing, I'm just really staying focused. I'm doing some traveling. I'm speaking at an event this Saturday. Just staying focused. And I don't really like to do a whole lot of different things if it's not in alignment with, number one, growing our coaching and training company, helping our clients grow their online businesses, or our Breaking the Cycle program. So I have another book for those of you who want to learn how to grow an online business, how to take your knowledge, your expertise, and your passion and turn it into an online business where you can grow up to 6 or 7 figures. It's called Intellectual Profits. And if you go to marquelrussell.com, MarquelRussell.com, you can actually get that for free, the full thing, and you get some other cool trainings that go along with it to help you implement it. But that's really it, man. Really helping empower entrepreneurs, really just helping change the world. And that's how we change the world, one life at a time, right?
Exactly. And that's the thing, man. It's those who, I like to say that I am looking to change the world, but I'm starting with the people who want to change themselves, right?
That's the only people we can help. We can't help nobody who don't want to help themselves. That's the bottom line. Because
I tried it the other way, right? Pulling people, I'm dragging people. It's like
it's too draining, man. It's too draining. You only can help those who want to help themselves. Like I don't go I got my buddies still in the hood. Everybody's still doing the same thing. But I don't go bashing them and talking down on them. We still kick it. We still talk. But it's not like, hey, bro, y'all should be doing this and blah, blah, blah. They see me doing my thing. I mean, when the time is right, the time is right. I speak to people every day who claim they want to make 10, 20,000, 100,000 a month online, but they don't even want to invest a couple $1,000s in themselves. I'm like, it don't work like that. You got to sow some kind of seed.
And you know what's so funny? And I try to get this across, and I say this every other episode or so, but the number one reason people don't invest in themselves is because they don't value themselves. See, you 100%. Only invest in something that you value. See, the guy who doesn't value that car, that's not the guy who's out there wiping that rust bucket up every other day. But the guy who values that rust bucket, he keeps that mug clean as a whip, even though the body is rusted out and there's a hole in the floor, but he values it. So he invests in the Armor All, he invests in the turtle wax, and he invests in the tire shine. Most people don't get that. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, what you're saying is you don't value yourself because you invest in the things that you value. So give me your last thoughts, man. Talk to the people, man. What could you say to budding? Because a lot of my followers are budding online entrepreneurs. They have brick and mortar businesses, or they have network marketing deals that they're working, and they're trying to make the transition to how do I get the internet to help me build this business? Let's do two things. Let's do two things. One is we know this great tool called the internet can help. But secondly, we know that people are trying to make this thing called the internet do the work. You still got to do the work, y'all.
You got to do the work.
You still got to do the work. So talk about doing the work, but then how you can leverage the internet to make the work a little easier, but you still got to do the work. Right.
True. So I'm glad you said that. And so I said it earlier. It's 2 types of work you got to do to make this work. Number one, the most important work is the work you're doing yourself. If you're waking up every day and you don't have some kind of personal morning development ritual, like you're not reading books, you're not listening to audios, you're not plugging into Cortez's show, implementing, like working on yourself mentally right here, you can hang it up, right? Because you got to be making sure the soil is fertile. You got to be doing that. You got to start your day with that. So that's the work that you're doing yourself. That's the most important work you're going to do, hands down. Number two, as far as doing the work, it's about really just simplifying, picking one thing and just following one day, just following. So if you follow Cortez, obviously you're following Cortez, just follow his brother and do what he says, right? Get on this video marketing train. I mean, he said it's $47. I mean, come on, man. Right. If you haven't bought that already, you crazy. Get that, buy the course. If you're going to do video marketing, focus on just doing what he teaches you as far as video marketing, and don't do nothing else but that and what Cortez tell you over the next 90 days. That's it. Don't get sucked into this webinar talking about this new shiny object. Get sucked into this thing talking about this, and the third. Just if you're going to do video marketing, just focus on just what Cortez teaches you tonight when it relates to video marketing. Focus on nothing but that for the next 90 to 100 days. Don't get on any more other webinars about nothing else. Just focus on what Cortez teaches. I promise you, you're going to start seeing momentum. And then you consistently build on that. That's all you do. You just do it one thing at a time. Because if you don't, you'll get overwhelmed and you'll start making excuses about how you're overwhelmed and start blaming all these people. If you follow this Cortez, what he's going to teach you at video marketing, he's also going to give you the Facebook ad training. So when you do the video for the next 90 to 120 days, right, then you start getting 20 to 25 leads a day from the video marketing. Now you're proficient with that. It's running by itself. Now you add the paid advertising on top of it with the Facebook ads. And you focus on nothing but that for the next 90 to 120 days. It's a complete game changer. But it all starts with the work you're doing on yourself and having a vision. Like if you don't have a vision of who you want to become, the type of business you want to have, and what you want, you're going to be swayed by all these different people online. They're going to drag you into their vision. If you don't have your own vision, you're going to easily be swayed. So that's why I always tell people, if you don't got anything with this or this, I can easily say no. Right. Because it's not in alignment with my vision. So I'm not getting sucked into everybody else's vision. And if you don't know who you are and who you're destined, who you're planning to become, or who you are personally, you're going to be swayed by everybody else. So if you focus on yourself, that personal growth, and then just do what Cortez tell you over the next 90 to 120 days, buy the $47 program, get started, focus on that the next 90 to 120 days. And after that, once you're proficient and you got it going, then you can add the Facebook ads on top of it if you want. You know, and then just focus on that. And I promise you, just with that alone, you can easily 10x your business, hit 6 or 7 figures, whatever your goals are by the end of the year. Just focus on those simple things and keeping it super simple.
Keep it simple, y'all. Keep it simple. Master one thing, man.
That's it. That's it. It's really that simple.
All over the place. And I love that you said earlier, and we're going to wrap. We're right at 8 o'clock. But you said when you got into attraction marketing, you got into learning and using the internet, you said you emptied your savings, getting your hand on everything that you could. And my man Corey Briggs put up a quote a couple months back that I love. He said, at some point, it's a matter of emptying your wallet to fill your head. And then you will get to a point where you can empty your head and fill your wallet. How good does it feel, brother, that you can take what you've been soaking up for the last 10 years, now you can put that into the marketplace and basically it's a blank check for you, right? Because you literally demand whatever it is that you want because of that. How good does that feel, bro?
It's amazing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So you guys have been listening to and learning from my man Marquel Russell. Don't forget, Bethany says she ordered the book and she would like for you to sign it. Please.
I got you covered.
You'll see an order from Brandy Gates, possibly. So if you see that, please sign it for my girl and ship it out to her. Anybody else go and place that order. I am what is it? I am breaking the cycle.
I am breaking the cycle.com, and all the proceeds from that book goes towards our Breaking the Cycle organization. So it's all about fueling the events, like paying for guys like Mikey to come down. It all goes towards doing the events for the youth. So it's not, we don't make any money on the books.
I am breaking the cycle.com. 100% of the proceeds goes to the organization to keep these young brothers trained up with 13 principles. We just gave you the 5: responsibility, design your future, entrepreneurship, motivation, happiness, and money. But there's 13 of these principles that you could be pouring into your children that could set them apart from those. And guess what? Here's the thing about leadership. See, when you can pour into your children and set them apart, and they can do some amazing things, guess what? They will start attracting some of those kids away from some of that negative stuff and pulling them towards a positive light. So pour this stuff to your children, man. That is amazing. You want to say something?
You create a new cycle, right? You break one cycle and create a new one.
Cycle, man, that these kids are starting to follow one another down the right path. So, Marquel, you're going to stay on for a second, brother. I appreciate you coming on, pouring into.
Sure,
I see the hearts and everything coming up, so everybody is loving the show and the content. So, again, just a quick announcement. The link to the video marketing course is in the description somewhere. I'll put it in the chat or wherever you can find it, so you get registered for that class. It's going to take place tonight. I am H. Fortes, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur. This is Marquel Russell, your favorite entrepreneur's favorite entrepreneur. He's certainly my favorite entrepreneur, so I'm glad he was able to come out and share with us this morning. Until we talk to you guys next time, we want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. All right, my friends. Great show, man. Great content. You gave me another great commercial to run for the rest of the day for the video marketing class, so I'll throw that up. So let's do really quickly, let's do a strong promo for I Am Breaking the Cycle. So just give me your best 90 seconds on what it is and why people should be getting involved and buy the book because the proceeds goes there.
So I think the biggest thing right now is we're seeing our young brothers get gunned down in the streets. We're seeing our brothers killing each other. We're seeing our brothers feel the prison system at a rapid pace. And the number one thing is it all starts with how we're thinking, how we're viewing ourselves. Our young brothers don't really know who they are, right? And the reason, and by them not knowing who they are, they're being swayed into all these other different things, right? The rappers lying to them and all this different type of stuff. And I tell these guys all the time, the rappers are lying. They've never done it. And I don't blame them because I've been there. I've done it. I've gone that route. But it took me from going from being a high school dropout, convicted felon, all this different type of stuff. And the thing that changed my life was exposure. And being exposed to mentors and finally discovering the principles that allowed me to go from where I was to where I am now. And it's the same principles that we see people who make millions and billions of dollars every single day. And it's not always been accessible to our community. So with the I Am Breaking the Cycle program, we've now brought those same principles, right, that we see the wealthiest people and the most successful people in the world applying into their lives. We bring those principles to our youth in our I Am Breaking the Cycle program on a silver platter, so they can easily take these principles in a bite-sized, actionable, basically process, so they can start implementing them and start seeing rapid change. So if we want to increase the dropout rate, we want to increase the rate that our kids are going to prison and killing each other in the streets. These principles are basically the recipe, so to speak, to make that happen. So that's pretty much the bottom line.
IamBreakingTheCycle.com, y'all. IamBreakingTheCycle.com. Get the book, make it a study with you and your children, young boys especially, but it's good for boys and girls because guess what? The young girls need to know what a solid young man looks like. If she's going to date somebody, and if somebody's going to approach her and ask her to prom, we know. And man, one of the things that killed me as a youngster in high school, I would see these sharp, intelligent girls, because you know the girls are the smartest in the class, and you know those, and they are with the most gangster, rugged, thugged out guy, and I'm hating a little bit because I'm this square, like, hey, look at me over here, right? That dude break your heart or whatever. But we want our young ladies to understand that what a solid brother looks like as early as possible, because a lot of them are dealing with fatherlessness as well. So they don't have a picture of a man to say, hey, this is probably what a man looked like when he was 15. So this will help the young girls and the young guys. Awesome. So let's transition a little bit and let's jump into maybe 3 to 5 things that you could just drop on a new online marketer who is stepping into this venture. They've got some good knowledge here or whatever they're passionate about, and they want to go ahead and start teaching that and maybe build a coaching program around that, maybe build an information business around that. What would you advise them to do to start?
Gotcha. So I'm about to literally give the blueprint. So I hope they taking notes, right?
All right.
So number one is you want to figure out like who is your target audience. So based on your knowledge and your expertise, who is your target audience? So let's just say, for example, you overcame. Let's just say your fitness, right? Your thing is fitness. I'm just going to use a hypothetical. You can give me an example if you want, but we're just going to run with fitness for now. So let's say it's fitness. So your target audience would be, let's say, moms who want to get, back in shape or whatever the case may be. Who is your target audience? You want to get crystal clear. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking everybody is their target audience. Mm-hmm. Everybody can use my stuff. And maybe that's true, but if you can get crystal clear on your target audience, that's going to really help you infinitely more. So number one is getting crystal clear on your target audience. Who do you desire to serve? Mm-hmm. And then number two, you find out, okay, what is something that you can give them in advance? How can you help them in advance? So for example, if you got your target audience, they know they want to lose weight, how can you help them in advance? So you can create some kind of video content, a webinar or just a video like we're doing now, and you can give it away, put it behind a capture page, a simple funnel, which I'll talk about here in a second. But you could put together some kind of video where you're teaching them, where it may say the daily, so you can say the daily meal plan that I used to lose 10 pounds in 10 days. Download now. So now they enter their name and email. Now you generate a new subscriber, and they get your PDF download. Or it could be the daily ab exercise I use to get ripped abs, or the top 3 foods you should never eat that most people say are healthy, but it's really adding fat to your body. So any kind of thing that you can give them to teach them something in advance to show you that you can help them. Okay, so then you give them that. So you decide, what are you going to give them? You can put this in the form of PDF download. It can be a video. It can be an audio, whatever you want it to be. Now you put that behind a simple capture page. A capture page is simple, something with a name and email and whatever the headline they're going to get. You just see these all over the internet. You can create them with things like ClickFunnels, lead pages or whatever. Now once they put their name and email in, once they opt in, you give them what you told them you're going to give them. You give them that free training. And then you say, hey, by the way, hopefully you got some value from this. But I know a lot of times what I found is that people struggle when it comes to implement it and customize it to fit their life. So what I'm willing to do is offer you a complimentary strategy session where we can hop on the phone, see exactly where you are now, where you want to go, and help you put together a game plan to hit your fitness goals or your business goals or your relationship goals or your parenting goals faster. All you got to do is click the button below this video, schedule a call, get on my calendar, and I'll be calling you personally so we can talk about how I can help you and we can work together. So now they click that button, they apply to speak with you. Imagine how powerful in the position you put yourself in when people apply to speak to you. Now you get on the phone with them. Now it's not even a sales call. On this call, you're getting more clear on where they are, what they're looking to accomplish, what's holding them back, and then you're showing them that gap that's stopping them from getting there. And now you provide your solution, your coaching program as that solution. Now, another thing, let me back up. You want to pick a price for your program that's anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000, okay? Because this is going to help you do two things. It's going to help you get committed clients because people who pay more, they pay more attention and they apply. So you can get more success stories versus selling them something cheap, right? And it's going to help you hit your income goals way faster. And it's just as easy to sell something for $3,000 as it is to sell something for $300 or $30. It's the same amount of work. So you might as well charge $3,000 or $10,000. So that's pretty much that. So number one, get crystal clear target audience. Number two is decide what can you give them in advance to teach them and give them some value in advance. And number three, give them a call to action to get on the phone with you, where you then go through that process of seeing where they are and then making them an offer to join you in the coaching program. And then you just do that over and over again. You can use video marketing, Facebook ads, or whatever, just to drive more people to that funnel. And I call it a 3-page cash machine. It's the opt-in, it's a thank you page, and then it's the booking page. So it's a 3-page cash machine, and you just do that over and over again.
Gotcha. So you heard it here first. Guys, a multi-million-dollar empire using a 3-page cash machine. So it doesn't get much easier than that. And I thank you for that, brother, because you just demystify internet marketing for tons of people. They just really, I mean, really, you think about all of these different stuff and all these shiny objects all over the place that says this is how internet marketing is done, and you just said, wait, three-phase cash machine. So, brother, man, it just made it so simple and easy. Anything else you want to put out there about who you are, what you're doing, that could help in anybody in any way before we let you go?
Now, I just say just keep it simple. I mean, I read a quote this morning by Mozart. He said, "True genius resides in simplicity." So wow. just keep this stuff simple. I mean, don't overcomplicate. I think Richard Branson, multi-billionaire, even said you basically don't get any points for complexity, right? Keep this stuff simple. I mean, it's really that simple. Just keep it simple. Stay focused on your vision. I mean, this stuff is simple. It's not going to be as easy sometimes. It's going to get frustrating, right? One of my mentors always says, you have to increase your frustration quotient. And the higher levels of frustration you're able to deal with, the higher levels of success that you'll accomplish and the more money you'll make. So just because you get frustrated, that's not a sign that it's not for you. Most people trick themselves saying, well, maybe this isn't for me. No, it's not that. Push through that, because most people quit at that point. Push through, and I guarantee you whatever it is you want is at your fingertips.
MarquelRussell.com, man. If you need a good business coach, I call him the freedom lifestyle architect. He can help you put that thing together, man, and take your life to the next level. Appreciate you for spending some time with us this morning. Love everything that you do, man. I'm going to follow you closely, and I'm going to go ahead and get your free book as well, and share that with some of my teammates and let them know that, hey, this is where I get my training from. So you might want to plug in with Marquel as well. So you guys have been listening to and learning from Marquel Russell on Talking Money in the Morning with H. Cortez, financial health mentor to the Black community. Until we talk to you guys next time, we want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. Peace out.